You mentioned that you have 3 levels of gaining perspective.
Yes.
I would love to please hear more about that.
Well, the thing is, for me, perspective. When I say perspective, I always say for me it's like with distance, and it's looking at yourself or at a project or at a problem or at everything at life. With some distance, and you can look at yourself or at life or at a project from 1 kilometer. You can do it at 10 kilometers, and you can do it at 100 kilometers. And if you do that, if you're really on top and very high, you can look further, not only forward but also backward. And that's something I think that I tend to do. From time to time, I take a distance from myself, from the things I do, to think about, to work on, and to reflect. And that makes a difference, because out of what you do then, and out of the reflection you make, you are going to distillate some actions or to-dos or questions or people you want to see or things you remember, and like, okay, yes, that's how I did it there, and you're making connections between stuff. And you also see that, for instance, now with the pandemic that is going on, a lot of people have lost, let's say, structure and security and
routine
and everything. Why do they need it? Because for them that's something, that's how they cope and to get on in life.
Right.
And I get that, but for me the fact that you go into perspective is the same, and does that. And I didn't need, or I was doing that already beforehand, and before this situation occurred. And I do that also on a personal level and from time to time. So that's how I really think you have to go. And that means, like, if you go higher and you look, then you can go sometimes also slower. You can create more focus. You know what to do. You put flags in the future. That's the way of going. Does that mean that I'm a planner and that I'm, let's say, like this? No, because I can cope with change or flexibility very well on a very short term. But on the other hand, on the long term, I like to really consider my alternatives, the situation we're in, where we're going, where will that be at. So I balance the one very hard with the other.
When do these moments of reflection take place for you? For example, for me, I find that when I'm driving in my car, that's when I meditate. Yeah. That's when I am able to really look at things. Like when I'm in a moving object and I'm still doing something, but I know how to do it, so I don't have to put too much thought into the driving. That's when I can really disconnect.
Yeah. It's a good question, and also already a good example. I think often it is when you're alone. And indeed, when you're in a moving object, or when you're doing sports, for instance, if I like to mountain bike, or if you're reading, I read quite a lot. Different stuff, all one through another, but and then I'm thinking. Sometimes it can also be when you hear something on the radio, or it can be something when you're talking with your partner or with family or friends, or somebody is saying something. So it's not, I would say it's not, for me it's not on fixed moments or in fixed situations. But I really think that it is something that, often you will be alone. That's also why I think that people need to take enough time to, be on their own, or to make your...
learn to be alone. A lot of people have issues with that, with how to be alone. Yeah. I love it. I love being alone.
And then, of course, once you do that, because, of course, you can create perspective, but then you have to pinpoint it, you have to talk about it, you have to question it, you have to... It's not something that you can act on, or you can resolve on your own. Well, and it's also not that I'm, for instance, I think about something, or for instance, now I am already since some time, and I started with that at the PIS group. I'm doing some projects around artificial intelligence. I'm starting tomorrow a course on London Business School, also on artificial intelligence. Like, this is something for myself where I create or put a flag in the future. I see this is something hot, it's something new. A bit of part of it right now is hype. I'm very sure of it. But I also see the real additional value, business value of it. So I know that in the future we will only get more of it. So I'm preparing myself on, okay, what can I do on knowledge and on experience on the part of data or artificial intelligence. Now, this, of course, is not something I can just do on my own. I need to talk about it with people who know it or with people who know me and say, like, is it something for me? Should I do it? So you get out of just trying to solve it for yourself, but just checking with some people, with friends, with your family, or with people, with colleagues, with ex-colleagues. And that's how you create your path or the stuff, what you try to do.